The Red Sox came into the day having won 7 of their last 10. They closed out the weekend series against the Athletics and did the job again. Boston winning at 6-3 this afternoon, powered by Carl Crawford's 3-run homer and 2-run blast by Adrian Gonzalez. A Yankees loss tonight means the Sox will be tied for the first place in the AL East. For more Red Sox talk, let's turn to the guys on the back talk set.
Okay, guys, before we start talking about the game, first of all, John Lackey. Give him a round of applause. John Lackey gave up 3 runs on 3 hits, which for him,
no, we should do a parade.
That's like a perfect game for him.
That is really. I mean, he was great. And I gotta say, I'm disappointed. Last year when he came from LA, he was great in LA, and he hasn't had it at Fenway. But maybe this will be a sign he's coming back. We got Dice K out for the year, so we don't have to worry about him.
Celebration
We don't have to worry about him.
Right.
The pitching's coming together. Lackey's pitching well. Dice K's gone. As I was saying before the show, the only use Daisuke Matsuzaka has to the city of Boston is his rookie card holds my wallet together. But anyway, going back to the game, you got to look at this. Obviously, winning 6-3, they were up 3-0. John Lackey gives up a homer, and then they come back. Big single by Ellsbury. Everybody's hitting the ball right now. First guy I want to talk about, Carl Crawford. Started off the season very slow. Moved down from the 2 spot all the way to the 8 spot. Now hitting incredibly well. 3 hits today. And is it just he's in a hot groove now and he's going to go back to the cold, or is it he's finally found his game again?
I think he's definitely finally found his game again. And you know what I think I like about Crawford is that he can adjust. He can adjust to wherever he is. You know, obviously he's not used to being in the 8th spot, but he adjusted there and now he's red hot. And he got a 3-run homer today, 1 run away from a grand slam.
Do you think he keeps hitting in the 8th spot if he keeps hitting like this, or do they move him up? Because I like looking at other guys. Originally, the Red Sox wanted Pedroia to be a 5 or 6 hitter, but he hit so well in the 2 spot, they just left him there.
Well, see, maybe you move him up to the 6th or 7th spot, but right now I think he's good. Maybe you want to test this out a little bit more, then maybe you move him back up to the 2 spot again, see how that works.
Jason?
I think Carl Crawford, he's not going to be going slumping again. My sister brought up a good point about the Red Sox 2-10 start. They really can't do any worse. Same thing with Carl Crawford. I think he's going to keep getting better. I think he's going to average 2 or 3 hits every game. And I think they should just leave him in the 8 spot. It's good to to spread out your good players, like, with Agon now in the 3 spot or the cleanup spot, Pedroia, as you said, in the 2 spot. So I think it'll help the Red Sox.
And looking at a guy like Adrian Gonzalez, too, and with Carl Crawford, the 2 big free agent acquisitions, guys who a lot of people were hyped saying they're going to start the season hot. Gonzalez started all right. Crawford had the bad start. But I think, at least from Crawford's point of view, he played in Tampa Bay. Gonzalez played in San Diego. Those are 2 smallest market teams in baseball. Coming to Boston, dealing with this media, this city, I think it was just a time of adjustment. I think Gonzalez is going to keep doing what he's doing. We may have an MVP in him. I think Crawford can keep it up. I do think he stays in the 7th spot, though. And then looking at the pitching, like we were talking about before, Lackey may have found his groove. He's pitching better, for lack of a better word. Beckett,
it's only 1 day.
who seems to be on and off every other year, he switches off. He looks like he's having an on year. Lester's won his last couple starts. Is the pitching streaking, or is the pitching here to stay?
Ooh, streaking. Because, we have, well, not young, but most of the staff is young. They're either young or dead old. Wakefield, dead old. Beckett, pretty old. Lackey, old. Lester, young. Buchholz, young. So, you can't rely on an old and young staff. You want people that are veterans, but not oldies.
Yep.
So, they're streaking, but don't expect this all the time from them.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they're definitely streaking because one thing about pitching is that it goes on and off all year. I'm actually a pitcher in Little League. A few starts ago, I gave up 10 runs in 2 innings.
Dice came out to start.
And then I normally give up 3 runs in 3 innings. So it sort of goes on and off,
Beckett.
Depends on how you're feeling. Thank you.
Hopefully he'll throw more than 3 innings in most of his starts.
that's
but
true. 3 innings is actually the limit in my league. So.
Yeah, same in Little League, yeah.
Yeah, so complete game. But
There you go.
But yeah, so I think it's definitely a streak. They're not going to be able to keep this up for the rest of the season.
So looking more at the pitching, going a little in deeper, because I think the hitting's together. One more thing I want to say at the beginning of the season, I made my bold prediction, like I do at the beginning of every season, for Boston sports. As far as baseball, I said Saltalamacchia hits 280 with 5 home runs. He started with 20 home runs. He started off awful. 5 home runs his last 10 games. Way to bring it together. And now that Jason Varitek, who's also been swinging a hot bat, can keep it together. Them switching off days, I think, is working. And actually, I'm kind of rambling because they're just doing so well. There's so much stuff to talk about. You know, David Ortiz, who normally starts his annual midseason slump around this time, he had a couple of hits today. He had an RBI. So the older guy's hitting well. But going back to the pitching, I'm going to try to stay on topic here. Daisuke Matsuzaka with the Tommy John surgery. He's out for at least the rest of the season. You now have Lester, Beckett, Buchholz, Lackey. Who's the 5th starter? Does Wakefield make a reappearance? Or do you see Aceves, who on the Yankees, his last team, pitched mostly in relief, did not pitch well. They kept him in the minors. I think that was a misuse of him. I think he's meant to be a starter. Red Sox have tried him in both spots. Does he come and take that 5 spot? Does Wakefield come and take that 5 spot? Do we have somebody else come into the picture, maybe a trade, free agent guy called up from the minors? Or do they just kind of go with the 4-man rotation and randomly fill in that 5th spot when they need it?
I think, they switch off Wakefield and Aceves. Sometimes they go with the 4-man rotation. It's kind of uncertain right now since they don't really have a strong 5th pitcher. Of course, Daisuke was never the strong 5th pitcher except for maybe his first year. But, he was better than Wakefield and he was better than Aceves. But, I think Wakefield and Aceves are both, they can both sort of get it done and not do terribly. So, they'll switch off, maybe 4-man rotation sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with Dylan. I think that like I said before, you can't be relying on, one pitcher to get a win all season. I just think they got to see, who's doing well, switch in between starting position and the bullpen position, and just see how it goes throughout the season.
All right, well, we have to remember we're all hunky-dory, lolly-jolly now, but they only played the Oakland Athletics. I mean, really, one of their pitchers' names was Outman. That's probably the coolest thing about them. Pitcher's name is Outman. I mean, that's good, but it was the Oakland Athletics. We got a 3-game series with the Yankees starting on Tuesday. We'll see when we come in next week how we feel. All right, so that's going to do it for Red Sox Talk for now. Back over to Logan.
Thank you, Alex. When we come back, it's time to review the NBA playoffs and talk about the official retirement announcement of Shaquille O'Neal. Is he the best ever? We'll debate that question after a short break.